Emotional intelligence, the key to successful relationships. Now, obviously, there's a lot more to relationships. But even with the greatest, the most wonderful deeds that you do, the most considerate deeds that you do, when our emotions are not in check and are not managed, relationships are destroyed. What is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence, let me read you a definition, is the ability to identify and manage your own emotions and the emotions of others. It is generally said to include three skills: emotional awareness, the ability to harness emotions and apply them to tasks like thinking and problem solving, and the ability to manage emotions, which includes regulating your own emotions and cheering up or calming down other people. In practical terms, this means being aware that emotions can drive our behavior and impact people positively and negatively, and learning how to manage those emotions, both our own and others, especially when we are under pressure. This is a critical skill for success in any relationship, whether it's spousal, with children, social, or at work. So why is it the key? Because Tony Robbins says something which I totally subscribe to. The quality of our lives is the quality of where we live emotionally. So wherever we live emotionally impacts the quality of our lives in every area, our relationships, our work, etc. If we are constantly angry, that is going to ripple into everything we do. And as much as we love our family members, as much as we want our job, for example, if we are hooked on a certain issue and we're choosing to be angry the whole time, eventually, if we don't stop, if we don't get a handle on it, we're going to destroy the relationship. We're going to destroy our jobs and have a terrible ripple effect. So emotional intelligence is something we all need to research, we need to get involved in, because once we do that, we're going to get a handle on our lives and our relationships. We're going to handle more crises in our relationships with more skill, because in a crisis it's very easy to blame, it's very easy to point fingers, it's very easy for things to turn around in the most negative of ways. But emotional intelligence is like a muscle. When you practice and when you work that muscle, it's going to get stronger. And just like everything we do in life, God has given human beings an unbelievable skill. I mean, it's good and bad. We get used to things. So when you work this muscle of emotional intelligence and you learn about it and you get good at it, eventually this is something that is going to become part of you, and you're going to get used to it, and it's going to change your life. But we live in a generation of now, immediate gratification. We're all used to handling things and thinking in certain ways. So when change comes, it takes time. Change is actually very messy in the beginning. It's uncomfortable. It drains you. It's awkward. It takes energy. Why? Because you're changing how you're thinking. You've been doing things for a long time, and it's worth the effort. If you have loved ones, it's worth the effort. If you want success in life, it's worth the effort. If you want relationships to flourish, it's worth the effort. So emotional intelligence, being aware of your emotions, where you fall down, where you get up, and learning how to apply the correct emotion in the correct situation is a skill that is going to literally transform your life. I know that it's transformed mine, but it's not a skill that you will ever stop doing. This is a lifelong work, because we aren't robots, we're not programmed. We get through, life is changing, we go through so many different things. We have to always be on duty, we have to be aware, and we have to be willing to put in the work. And I think what stops a lot of people putting in the work is that they don't value who they truly are. And when you value yourself, when you know your eternal value, you're going to put in the work to achieve what you want. Because the one thing, in my humble opinion, one main thing that boosts emotional intelligence is gratitude. This is a whole different topic which we can talk for hours, and I was thinking of doing a webinar on it. But when you suddenly become grateful, you start looking around and seeing whatever your situation, whether you're unemployed, whether you're poor, whether you're a dishwasher, whatever, and you look around and you start seeing every moment of life, every person you have in your life as a gift. Nothing taken for granted, not a foregone conclusion. This gratitude in your life is going to calm you down. It's going to give you perspective. It's going to give you enjoyment, no matter what situation you're in and how small the enjoyment might be. And once it does that for you, your emotional intelligence is going to skyrocket. And why is that? Because you're going to gain perspective. When you're speaking to somebody you love and you're grateful for them, you're going to restrain or work your tunnel vision of focusing just on the one thing they did, and you're going to see the whole person, and you're going to save that relationship. At work as well, you might not like your job, but you're grateful for a job until you can change it. So instead of freaking out on things that are easy to freak out about, especially when we don't like what we're doing, with gratitude for it, you're going to take a step back. You still can fight for what you believe in, but you're going to take a step back and do it with more sense and more wisdom. And this goes in every single area of our lives. Emotional intelligence, if you work on that and you put the time in it, you're going to revolutionize your life. Because when you used to, let me put it another way, the arguments that you have, the things that you nitpick, the ego that you used to let run wild, these things are all going to change, because you know that once you boost your emotional intelligence, you're going to preserve those things that in truth you do not want to lose.